It's not self-indulgent. What I'm saying is if we create a heroic statue of me, that will inspire the viewers.
Are you even hearing the words coming out of your mouth?
Scare me! Scare me like one of your French girls. I am so excited for today and welcome back to the channel, Dingles. Tell them what we have planned.
We're going to make you into a space marine.
All I need is a little raw emotion out of you when we're filming, okay? You're gonna look at the lens, you're gonna tell them you're excited, or you're not getting your kidneys back. That's from the Emperor, that's come from the top. I don't know nothing to do, I need you to perform.
Today, we're turning Mike into a space marine.
It's the part I was born to play, baby. Future Mike here, and I just wanted to let you guys and girls know that this awesome idea for a video is only made possible thanks to the incredible team over at HeyGears. Today they are sponsoring us and they've sent us their Ultracraft RS Turbo printer and a little more on that printer later. But first, we need to design something that's really gonna test the caliber of this printer. That's right, today you are in for an absolute treat on the channel because we're gonna take a look at 3D scanning, modeling, printing, and painting. You don't even need to know much about those topics because I barely do, but we can fumble our way through together and we'll probably learn some things along the way. Oh, and whatever amazing design we end with at the end, if you'd like a copy of it, I'm gonna get one across to you. But now back to the action. Now Dingles, you are the tech guy for the channel, so how exactly are you going to turn me into a space marine? Because I'm not down with this genetic augmentation business.
Well, lucky for you, it's pretty easy. We're going to 3D scan you, I'm going to print you into some 3D packages, do some sculpting maybe, and then slice it and print it.
In English, damn it!
I'm going to scan you and then print you.
In English, damn it!
Just sit there and don't talk.
Don't talk. It's going to be tough. Is this going to hurt?
With a bit of luck.
Scanning.
What are you doing?
Looks like it's worked. Now Dingles, I'm gonna leave all the 3D modeling, nerd burglary business to you, yeah? Yeah, good. Make me look more heroic. Got it. Increase that beard by 20%.
Hey everyone, Dingles here. Now that old man Mike's off our back, let's have some fun. So once we were happy with the scan, I meshed the point cloud and exported Mike's head. As I was leaving, Mike couldn't help but give me some pointers. Give me back my hair, make my jaw bigger, you know, that kind of deal. So here we are in ZBrush, and I'm importing the raw scan data in as an OBJ. And honestly, it looks pretty good straight off the bat. You may be asking yourself, Dingles, shouldn't you have told him to shave for the scan? And I mean, probably. Certainly would have made the scan easier. But that would have required some foresight and planning. So here we are. I'm starting with a little bit of cleanup, mostly smoothing and cutting things away, while I decide what direction to take the sculpt. What might need emphasising, what details might get lost when printed at mini scale, all the while trying to keep Mike looking like Mike. And before you come to this conclusion on your own, yes, I am an amateur artist, so don't come to me for amazing advice. If I do something stupid, it's not a secret technique, it's just stupid. Alright, just pop those on and there we have it, ready to send off for printing. Alright, but seriously, looking at the scan, I think the main things I need to focus on are the eyes, which got a bit lost in the scan, and bringing back some of Mike's many wrinkles. He looks good for a man of 56, but this scan has come off a bit too kind. And I think the way the hair has turned out in the scan looks pretty good, so I've been battling over whether to try and sculpt or stylize it. The beauty of working digitally is the ability to make copies and experiment, so that's exactly what I'll do. And to make it easier, I've bought a great VDM fur brush to give the big man's luscious beard the credit it deserves. Mike wishes he had the full lips I'm now giving him, but I thought it would help to add a bit of extra definition to areas that might get lost at mini scale. Then it was on to the main event, the hair. I really could have used some better techniques here, but essentially I just used many of the standard brushes to create what I'd like to think of as an idealised version of Mike. With a bit more tweaking, pinching and smoothing, and giving him back his eyeballs, I think I'm happy to leave it there. because there's also a few other bits and pieces I'd like to add to this marine model while I still have time.
Dingles has let me know that phase 1 is complete. We've managed to scan my head in and he's remodeled it to showcase my heroic features. But before we get to printing, we're going to need some eye-catching far future power armour. The lovely team at Dakka store sensed that I needed apparel befitting a chapter hero if this whole project was going to be credible. We had a play around one evening scrolling through their online gallery of highly detailed models.
I wanted this marine model to scream Flashing Badger, so obviously my first thought went to painting. I thought an airbrush flamethrower, ammo belt of paints, and an air compressor pack would be a pretty fun way to go. So I've got a bit of a basic block out going here, based loosely on my sketch. Not sure if I mentioned, but we also scanned Gary the Goat, who hangs on Mike's wall, and I thought he'd make an awesome addition to the Flashing Badger banner. Banners are a great candidate for cloth simulation. So after playing with a few settings and the wind direction, I think we have something looking pretty nice. Adding some extra details now like rivets, cooling fins, compressor dials, and of course, can't forget a channel logo or 3. It was at this point that we decided it would be cool to have both a Space Marine mini of Mike and a larger bust or statue version that would loom over the battlefield and serve as an objective marker or object of worship. So it's one final trip back into ZBrush to carve some damage into a pillar. And with that, we're left with an ideal mount for the bust to stand on. We're ready for slicing and printing, and I'm ready to hand back to Mike.
With all of the hard work completed, that's when I, as the project manager, like to reappear and start taking credit and looking actively involved. Ah yes, let's fire this model up in Blueprint Slicer and start sliding things around and rotating them a little to make it look like I'm contributing. It's foolproof. Yes, I want to end this project with a small mini of myself and an epic heroic bust. But if I'm really going to test the limits of this printer and what it can achieve, I'd be mad not to just load up some beds of tiny detailed miniatures. People always ask me below what models I am printing and painting, so these are the Parlous Hermits, which have just been released and would fit nicely into your dark space elf style armies. Then we have a Crimson Wing Sacrificer, and of course, a whole bunch of sci-fi orcs. Here is the futuristic looking Ultracraft Reflex RS Turbo printer that HeyGears have sent to us, and they welcome the challenge of tackling these 28mm scale minis and the responsibility of capturing all of my wrinkles on that bust in glorious high definition. I don't compare and review 3D printers on this channel for good reason, because I'm not an expert in this area. Yes, of course, I'd love to suddenly have access to the ability to download STLs and print whatever minis I want, but I'm a normal dude painting minis after work to relax, so if I'm going to try my hand at tech like this, I can't stress enough that it needs to be straightforward and reliable. As I flick through the printer specifications, I can tell you things like how it has a 10.3 inch 8K amber screen or a 405nm optical wavelength, but I honestly don't know what those things mean or what to compare them to. Instead though, I can tell you that we unpacked everything, plugged it in, followed the setup guide, and with little to no knowledge of 3D printing, we were able to get started. I suspect that the barrier to entry with 3D printing has come a long way because this printer would auto-level the printing bed and automatically adjust for the best settings, which is lucky because otherwise you'd be left with a whole bunch of footage of me looking confused at the computer. During some of the prints, we stood around taking pretty videos and photos because the whole process is just fascinating and calming. And then if we needed to head to work, I had the comfort that the printer would continue without me standing over it watching from every angle. There are so many incredibly talented sculptors and mini designers out there, and I always see STL campaigns like these, and I won't speak for you, but for me, I felt like I was worrying that seeing what I liked on the screen would never eventuate and translate into a model in my hand. Or if it did, the detail just wouldn't come across. Does that make sense? Myself and Dingles have honestly had such a great experience working with the HeyGears printer over the last couple of days. I know it's silly and I really shouldn't give this part away, but my favorite thing to do with any potential product sponsor is to go covert as a regular customer during the process and reach out to their customer service and technical support teams from my side account and just see what kind of assistance we receive. Dingles and I requested advice with getting the most out of using the slicer and parts of the printing process, and I need to share with you guys and girls that their team was so prompt, lovely and patient. I don't know. That kind of thing's important to me. Likely because my default setting is to be terrible with technology, so I need the comfort of knowing that there's a patient team behind me that are there to help. As always, my advice, if you like the idea of picking up a 3D printer, or maybe this printer specifically because I've had such a positive experience with it, continue your research online and listen to what the pros have to say. I'm confident it will be positive as well, but they may have more information that helps you determine whether or not a 3D printer is a good fit for you. I'm obviously itching to start painting these models, but first we get to check out some more pretty shots of these models zoomed right in so you can see the amazing detail designed by Dakka Store and brought to life by the HeyGears Ultracraft RS Turbo printer. For no reason at all, I wanted to start with the huge bust of myself. I told Dingles that it needed to be the size of my fist and stand atop a mighty pillar so that it could act as a self-indulgent terrain piece in the center of our tabletop games. No chance anyone would fail a morale test when they are within sight of this awe-inspiring beacon
of man's testament to overcoming adversity and slaying the foes.
Sorry, I zoned out a little there. I want the bust to be copper that is oxidized in the elements. You know when it's formed that greeny blue weathered patina over it? That's what I'm thinking. And it can stand atop a marble pillar. That should look cool. So I started with a black prime, and whilst there are metallics that are copper, I really like this one from the army painter called Emperor's Gold. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I'm painting a heroic miniature of myself and this has the name Emperor in it. Why would you even suggest that? That's crazy. Thanks to sponging the paint on, I can leave some areas splotchy, showing the black areas beneath to create some contrast, as now I steer us into a silver dry brush highlight. I worry less about what this should look like in real life and concern myself more with what will look vibrant and fun on the tabletop tomorrow when we're rolling dice and insulting one another. From black to dark gold to silver, I'm enjoying the quick shift in colours, but now I want to tie it all together easily, and by mixing together a reddy brown wash with some thinner and medium, I can simply coat the model to achieve a free colour filter over the whole piece. Okay, I'll stop stalling. Let's get into the greens and blues. I've picked my favourite dozen or so, but that's more to emphasise to you that you don't need a specific colour or even a specific technical paint, because I'll shuffle the batch, grab a couple, and show you that it's more about just diving in and let the paints do the work for you. The ratio here is around 1/3 paint to 2/3 thinner, and this is important. If it goes on any thicker, then you're just painting the model. I want to stain the model. This is like when you put the tea bag on the bench for a second and lift it back up. Or if you spill some Mountain Dew and you can see the unholy fluorescent stain. Even if this looks extreme now, as it dries, the blue will actually be much tamer. And check this, if an area has too much happening, I wash my brush and then rub this across the area again, and this will lift away some of the paint and tone down the rest. Now this is where I'm calling upon you for your assistance, because I am in Struggle Town trying to think of a funny or appropriate name for a badger themed chapter of Space Marines. Adeptus Diabetes is funny when you catch me snacking on all these Tim Tams while I'm painting, but it's got nothing to do with badgers of the flashing variety. So put them all down below in the comments. We can thumbs up our favorite one, and that's a cheeky way of discovering what we're going to name this badger themed Space Marines. I repeat the process with a couple more colours. If they are still wet, then the colours will mix and blend, so I prefer to let each layer completely dry before I head into the next. Speaking of head, get a load of the detail on this absolute specimen of bravery. I mean, probably a good thing I wasn't behind the wheel, because I still don't think Dingles has done enough to capture my jawline, lush hair, humble demeanor and alluring charm. But I can't do it all myself, you know. I'm not really sure how I'm going to paint the marble pillar, so now I'm just stalling and adding more and more colors onto the statue when they probably aren't needed. This speed paint is called Plasmatic Bolt. This speed paint is called Plasmatic Bolt. Better. Come on, Mike, let's paint the pillar. Airbrush time, because if I'm going to catch heat for using a printer, may as well go all out and get the brush community in on the action as well. Dark teal's going down because at the end, I'm hoping this will be the veins in the marble that we see through the grey, bone and white colours. Once dry, I add some curvy random highlights with brighter blues, but as with most things, I'm really not overthinking it here. I've left some baby whites out to dry overnight, and now I'm showing off my beach muscles by struggling to pull them apart. I'll save you the pain and jump forward to one that I've teased right out. I'm doing my best to keep it flat and tight across the pillar, but I just had a coffee and I was absolutely pinging. Do your best to keep it flat and tight, and then come back over the top with a grey and then highlight with bones. Not a satisfying peel away by any means, but this looks pretty cool. The teal veins are chunky, so if I were to attempt this again, I think I would stretch the baby wipe out even further, but hey, I still think it looks really interesting, and that looks like marble, right? Thin down brown and bone to act as dust and staining because the statue has been left at the mercy of the elements in a crumbling city, so it shouldn't look pristine. Then I can finish the look with some shrubs and weeds that are finding a home in the ruin. We have more painting on the way, but shall we pause for a second and check out the weathered statue of Chapter Master Mike? Yes? Then let's do it!
Lucky strike, love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you're surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah, got lucky overnight. Jackpot when I got the invite. Let me wrap my arms around you.
I hadn't actually considered how I was going to paint the 28mm scale marine though. I mean, I'd like it to incorporate the channel colors, and that could look cool with the black and the white of the logo and then the blue accent color. So let's give that a go to start with. And to kick it off, let's work on that white power armor. When I paint white armor, personally, I like it to be darker because you're mad for thinking that you could manage to keep white clean on the battlefield. I can't even wear a white shirt when I go out for dinner, so no way Space Marine Mike is avoiding any stains. Beginning with a bone prime and then politely glazing the armor by thinning down a light tone and brushing this onto the lower halves of the armor panels. It should dry quite thin, but work its way a little darker towards those recess areas. I exaggerate the look by painting a thin recess line of brown around the armor, which should look out of place now, but when I add a darker trim to my armor, I think it will come back to us. There we go. Now I'm allowed to go nice and bright with another off-white and a bright white for my layer highlights. If I needed more from the armor, I can revisit later, but I want to block out some more colors first. This looks like the channel blue, and it's exactly the kind of accent color that I'd expect a Space Marine character would wear to stand out on the battlefield. Personally, I'd probably pay someone to stand near me and wear the bright colors so that I don't get shot, but who am I kidding? I'm not turning down an opportunity to look that special. I've based all of the armor's trim in brown to act as a warm base coat for my gold, and I've found that if there are any thin or patchy parts in your metallic coat, then a brown base coat looks natural underneath. You'll see in the armies that I've painted in the past that usually the regular troops will have darker and dirtier metals on their armor, and then that gives me room to maneuver and have vibrant eye-catching golds for the heroes, which makes them really stand out in your army. A warm reddy brown wash for the gold makes it look three-dimensional and valuable, and the other areas can have a gunmetal base. How awesome is that airbrush flamethrower design, by the way, and an air compressor for a backpack? I had said to Dingles that if he somehow got the channel logo onto the Marine, I will be happy, and he went crazy with the creativity, and I love it. Highlighting the robes, and to make it look a little more like fabric, I'll use my thin brush and create these hash marks back and forth. They can be darker in the recess areas of the robe, and then brighter in the raised areas. The model feels like it belongs. Like, it's really high quality print job on this, I'm loving it. And now I just want to load up print bed after print bed and just start churning them out. They could be like a really cool stocking stuffer this year that I give out to everyone. Oh, and on the bottom I'll put like a QR code or something. This is the bulkiest, most annoying business card you're ever gonna get. Someone write this down, I love this idea. Do you notice in these videos that I always leave the tricky parts to the very end? Because I'm clearly avoiding it, I can't stall any longer. So it's on to painting the logo on the banner, my lush beard, and then I'll try and paint the face. Yeah, I need a helmet variant for this guy, even though it defeats the whole purpose. Let's take a positive from it and identify a really basic way to paint faces in case you aren't confident either. Step 1, remind yourself that even though there's a lot of detail, this thing is tiny. So don't feel bad for finding it hard to paint a match head to look like a portrait. A warm, darker skin for the base coat, so whatever skin tone you want, start darker for the base, as this will end up being our warmth and shadows below soon enough. Next, I've queued up a couple of brighter skin tones on my palette, and I've told myself to work between them. My face has some obvious big raised areas, like that forehead so big that it's bordering on a 5 head, plus that big schnoz and cheeks. So these surface areas give us some room to work our way lighter. Yes, there are guides online that talk about how to add reds and blues to different parts of the face, but we are scaling it right back today. Darker in the shadows, lighter on the raised areas, and this is looking good. Only a couple of minutes work and we can be proud of that. Have you spotted the bandolier that's across my chest and has a little paint dropper bottles as ammunition for the airbrush flamer? I tell you what, it's going to be hard to load with my power fist left hand, but don't worry about that. Instead, let's turn our attention to how much the army painter are going to love seeing it. The airbrush needs to be loaded, so I'll mix a little speed paint with a UV drying resin and top up the hopper. And over to a pretty base worthy of a chapter master, and I think that means we must be ready to take a look at the finished model. And then I'll tell you how I'm going to give you one of your own. Yes, it's all been very self-indulgent and silly today, and I hope that you appreciate that we don't take ourselves too seriously on the channel, so I welcome you to absolutely roast me and the minis in the comments section down below. But if by some sheer miracle you actually would like to get your hands on either the bust to operate as terrain on your wargaming table, or a chapter master mic that you can feed to swarms of Tyranids, then we've got you covered because we're going to get you a copy of the files. In the channel Discord, I'll have a Google Drive link where you can grab the files, and the link for the Discord is in the video description below. And it probably goes without saying, but if anyone happens to print and paint these models, then you best bet we're going to show them off in future videos, just to keep the absurdity of all of this going. These incredible people are the channel Patreon members, and for as little as $1 a month, they are financially supporting me so that I can create absurd videos like these. Now, I don't ask for much in return, other than probably a strong expectation that each of them will print a 1-to-1 scale replica of the bust, paint it, and have it occupy most of their hobby desk. Now that's not from me, that's coming from the top again. That's from the Big E, the Emperor himself. You wouldn't dare go against his wishes, would you? Because that sounds like heresy. That actually raises a really good question that I haven't tackled so far. Are the badges Loyalists, or are they traitor chapter? A little bit of chaos in the badges? You tell me. So come hang out with us in the Discord, and also check out Gordon, Wegs, Fitz and I in the Flashing Badger podcast on Spotify, where we play role-playing games, and we've just finished up a Space Marines and Fallout campaign. As in, those are two separate campaigns, Space Marines and Fallout, not Space Marines in the Wasteland. Can you imagine? Thank you again to the incredible team over at HeyGears for sending Dingles and I a copy of their Ultracraft Reflex RS Turbo resin printer. It was honestly so much fun to work with, and it's injected within us a desire to create more 3D designs and printing projects for the channel. So if there's something you can think of, let me know down in the comments below of what we should be creating next. The original sculpt and those extra models we printed today have all come from Dakka store, and if you'd like to print your own, well, the files are available now over at my mini factory. But until next time, I've been Mike, joined by the amazing Dingles and you fantastic folk who have watched all the way to the end. But now you need to get out of here, because I really need to start working on the next video. Get! Oh, I will put my phone on do not disturb.
This will take like 6 tries.
Nah, we got this. It's 6, that's all. Jeez, Mr. Pro over here.
How often do you do you re-record stuff a lot like
To inspire our viewers.
Are you even hearing the words that are coming out of your mouth?
Scan me! Scan me like one of your French girls.
We got it.
Listen, if you want your kidney back, I'm gonna need a little excitement out of you when you spark the lens, okay? I just got off the phone from the Emperor, and the Emperor says you need to deliver a performance. I can't have you looking off into space disinterested. Get your act together, or I'll get Big E down here. I have your family. I have your...
Legend speaks of a man who saved the world with just a stroke of a brush. You may know him by name. He's the badger with a magical touch. Flashing badger, flashing badger. All right, flashing badger.